A powerful aftershock has rocked the Indonesian island of Sulawesi as rescuers continue their search for survivors of Thursday's quake. At least 67 people have been confirmed dead and hundreds more are injured or missing.
A devastating earthquake strikes Indonesia early Friday, killing dozens of people and injuring hundreds of others on the country's Sulawesi island. The 6.2 magnitude quake hit just after midnight, trapping many residents who were sleeping. Indonesia's disaster agency says at least 300 homes suffered damage and some 15,000 residents are displaced. Several hotels and government buildings have been reduced to rubble. One of the area's biggest hospitals was forced to temporarily move patients to an emergency tent.
All those affected by the earthquake with health or serious health problems can be evacuated. We will provide support and health care for all.
Search and rescue teams are racing to find survivors caught underneath the damaged structures, but they're facing obstacles. Downed power lines are interrupting communication, while landslides are blocking rescue crews from reaching major roads.
Because land access is cut off due to the quake, we sent logistics here by sea, so we have sent everything by sea.
A UN spokesman says efforts are underway to bring supplies to the region.
National authorities have so far mobilized 4 helicopters, tents and mattresses, special kits for children and the elderly, food and medical assistance, including orthopedic and psychosocial support.
A 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck the same region on Thursday and damaged several homes.
印尼的苏拉威西岛呢，在凌晨发生了规模 6.2 的地震，已经知道的是有7个人死亡，超过600人受伤。救难人员呢，蹲在巨大变形的水泥块前，拿灯光跟工具，忙着要救出受困的人。另外，还可以看到破碎的木材跟石块下方，有小女孩呢跟救难人员在对话。印尼苏拉威西岛在凌晨大约1点左右呢，发生规模 6.2 的强震，因为震央呢在距离岛上的城市马杰内大约36公里处，深度呢只有10公里，巨大的破坏力导致很多的建筑物毁损。虽然没有引发海啸，还是造成了严重的死伤，很多民众呢惊恐逃离家园。
网上看新闻，请下载 TVBS App 或直接按订阅 TVBS 新闻频道。
جهود مكثفة تبذلها فرق الإنقاذ الإندونيسية في رفع الأنقاض والبحث عن ناجين في جزيرة سولاويسي التي ضربها زلزال بلغت قوته نحو 6 درجات على مقياس ريختر. السلطات الإندونيسية أعلنت أن زلزال سولاويسي خلف عشرات القتلى ومئات المصابين في حصيلة أولية رجحت أن ترتفع خلال الساعات المقبلة. فالزلزال تسبب بانهيار أبنيات عدة ودمر مستشفى حوصر العديد من العاملين فيه تحت الأنقاض.
كما ترون خلفي بهذا المستشفى انتشلنا ضحيتين، ما زلنا نحاول العثور على المزيد من الضحايا تحت الأنقاض، ولكننا لا نعرف حتى الآن ما إذا كان هناك من لا يزال على قيد الحياة أم لا.
ولم تستبعد السلطات احتمال حدوث تسونامي في حال تعرضت الجزيرة نفسها للمزيد من الهزات الأرضية. وكان مركز الزلزال الذي ضرب سولاويسي على عمق 10 كيلومترات وشعر السكان به بقوة لمدة 7 ثوان وتسبب بذعر كبير حيث فر كثيرون إلى مناطق أكثر أمنا. وشهدت الجزيرة سلسلة من الزلازل خلال 24 ساعة الماضية وتسببت فيما لا يقل عن 3 انهيارات أرضية وانقطاع إمدادات الكهرباء. يذكر أن زلزالا ضرب مدينة بالو في جزيرة سولاويسي عام 2018 تسبب بحدوث موجة تسونامي وخلف آلاف القتلى والمصابين.
Well, a powerful earthquake in Indonesia has killed at least 35 people and injured hundreds more. The quake struck at night on the island of Sulawesi, claiming lives and damaging many buildings in and around the capital district. Now, authorities fear more people could be buried in the rubble, and they're warning that strong aftershocks could also trigger a tsunami.
Trapped under the rubble, this person tells rescue workers she can barely hear the woman next to her breathing. The powerful quake struck just after midnight, causing many to flee in the darkness. In the morning, those left in the hardest hit city of Mamuju woke up to scenes like these. This is what was left of the local hospital, where a rescue operation is now underway. As you can see behind me, from this hospital, we have retrieved 2 dead victims. We are still trying to find more victims in the rubble, but we don't know yet if they are still alive or not. Some people have been recovered from the debris, but it's a vast operation. As many as half the buildings in Mamuju city have either collapsed or are partially damaged, and there are fears that strong aftershocks are still to come. Aftershocks are still happening. According to our analysis from local data that we'd recorded, as well as historical data, we believe there's still potential for more strong aftershocks, just like what happened at midnight.
Adanya gempa susulan yang cukup kuat seperti dini hari tadi.
For now, many fearing the aftershocks are choosing to stay on high ground, wondering if they'll have homes to go back to.
From Jakarta, I'm joined now by DW correspondent Priyadharni Tuapurba. Thank you so much for joining us. What is the latest right now?
Yes, Sarah, it is certainly one of the most challenging times here in Indonesia because we're still in the middle of a plane crash investigation, and now we are facing a massive earthquake in the eastern part of Indonesia. So what can I say to you right now is the rescue team is still carrying out the rescue operation to find survivors and people who are trapped under the rubble. And there are 2 worst affected locations in that area, which is Majene district and Mamuju district. And in these 2 locations, at least 34 people died because of this earthquake. So the rescue team has also faced a little bit of obstacles because there was also rain in there and the electricity is still out and the communication cellular is still also unstable. So the rescue team is still do their job to really find the survivors as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we're looking at those images right now, like as you've mentioned, that you know the rain that has been an issue, a challenge for authorities as they try and move in there for rescue workers. There's also the fear of aftershocks as well. Given all of those factors, how are the rescue operations taking place?
Yes, sure. The head of the Meteorological and Geophysics Agency here in Indonesia, in a news conference, has told us that aftershocks is still potentially happening and it could lead to a tsunami. So she urged the people to really stay away from areas that has a lot of buildings and structures that are easily collapsed, and also to stay away from the coastal area to go to the higher ground. But still, up until now, the rescue operation is still do their job to really find victims and also survivors which are trapped under the rubbles, because as being reported, dozens of houses are destroyed. Even the office of the governor himself is also destroyed at this massive earthquake. Sarah.
Thank you so much, DW's Priyadharni Tuapurba, reporting from Jakarta on this earthquake in Indonesia. We appreciate it.
At least 37 people have been killed and hundreds injured after a powerful earthquake rocked Indonesia's island of Sulawesi. Dozens of aftershocks have followed in quick succession, with authorities warning that further quakes could trigger a tsunami.
Siapa itu di sebelah tak?
Catering.
Masih bernapas sih?
Masih ada suaranya, tapi susah.
Rescuers are racing against time to find survivors trapped under the rubble after a powerful earthquake jolted the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. That is the same place hit by a quake and tsunami in 2018, killing over 2,000 people. The 6.2 magnitude quake struck near the city of Majene at a depth of 10 kilometers. It was felt strongly for about 7 seconds, just past 1 a.m. Thousands have fled their homes in darkness shortly after the quake. But many are reportedly trapped under collapsed buildings. The strong tremors had flattened a hospital, a governor's office, and damaged hundreds of homes. The quake also triggered 3 landslides, wrecking road links to regional hubs and knocking out power. A massive search and rescue operation is underway, with the Air Force deploying several aircraft to assist efforts. The president has also offered his condolences to quake victims, but called for calm in the affected areas.
Saya juga minta kepada masyarakat untuk tetap tenang dan mengikuti petunjuk-petunjuk yang disampaikan oleh petugas di lapangan.
But the worst may not be over. Authorities have warned that more aftershocks could follow, and they may be strong enough to trigger a tsunami.
Karena kondisi batuan sudah diguncang 2 kali, bahkan 28 kali, sudah rapuh, dan pusat gempa ada di pantai, nah memungkinkan untuk terjadinya longsor ke dalam laut atau longsor bawah laut, sehingga masih atau dapat pula berpotensi terjadi tsunami apabila ada gempa susulan berikutnya dengan pusat gempa masih di pantai atau bahkan di pinggir laut.
About 15,000 people have been evacuated to temporary shelters, but concerns are growing as the COVID-19 pandemic could complicate the situation. This could be one of the biggest tests for the Indonesian government as it deals with the aftermath of the earthquake and an ongoing coronavirus vaccine rollout. Saiful Bari Ismail joins us live from Jakarta. Saiful, update us on the massive search and rescue effort underway.
Well, Jill, rescuers will be working throughout the night in the hope of finding survivors. Earlier today, rescuers managed to pull out a few survivors from the rubble. Authorities said most of the casualties are from Mamuju district. One of the reasons why most of the casualties are from Mamuju is because Mamuju has a much bigger population, and it is a more built-up area. Majene and Mamuju are coastal districts located near the Makassar Straits. Now, the earthquake happened in the early hours of the morning when many residents were sleeping. This could be the reason for the high casualty number. As of 4 p.m. local time, authorities said that power in Majene and Mamuju regencies have not been restored. This means residents who do not have the luxury of owning a generator set will have to spend the night in the dark. The Transport Ministry said flights to West Sulawesi province are still operational. 2 airports were affected by the earthquake, the airport in Mamuju and Mamasa. However, they suffered only minor damage. For example, the control tower in Mamuju airport suffered cracks. The 2 airports are still operational and in serviceable conditions. Now, this is good news because it will be easier for authorities to send immediate relief quickly by plane to Mamuju.
Are authorities still on alert for a possible tsunami, and how are they preparing for that?
That's right, Jill. Indonesia's Geophysics Agency, or BMKG, recorded at least 28 aftershocks after the 6.2 magnitude earthquake. The agency said more strong aftershocks may still occur, and because of this, the agency is not ruling out the possibility of a tsunami. Authorities have urged the public, especially those living near the coastline, to evacuate to higher ground in the event of another earthquake. Authorities urge the public not to wait for the tsunami warning because the giant waves can come crashing down the coastal town very fast. Authorities have also warned residents to stay away from buildings which may have the potential of collapsing. Now, this is not the first time that a natural disaster has hit Majene. On 23rd February 1969, a stronger 6.9 magnitude quake hit Majene. The quake triggered a tsunami which crashed onto the coastal district, killing 600 people. 64 other people were killed when they were trapped in collapsed buildings as a result of the earthquake.
And all this being complicated by COVID-19, are precautionary measures being taken in the temporary shelters, for example?
For sure, Jill. Despite the disaster, authorities are also concerned about the ongoing health crisis in Indonesia. The country is still battling the COVID-19 pandemic, and authorities have taken steps to ensure that the evacuation centers are not too overcrowded to prevent the transmission of the virus. Authorities have also sent isolation tents for people who are sick. Evacuees are also given face masks. Now, in addition, evacuees are given ready-cooked food packets and blankets to help them rest through the night. Local authorities have set up 10 evacuation points in Majena and 5 evacuation points in Mamuju for residents whose homes were damaged from the earthquake. Some residents whose homes are not damaged have also evacuated themselves, and because they did not want to stay at home because they are too afraid of the aftershocks. Now, the earthquake in West Sulawesi today is not the only disaster facing Indonesia right now. There are 2 other catastrophes within the past week which have claimed many lives. In Sumedang, West Java, a landslide has killed at least 24 people. And on Saturday, a Sriwijaya flight SJ182 crashed into the Java Sea, killing all 62 passengers and crew on board.